Good morning. This is the Blaine's World webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and get more information about this show, past shows on our website, which is behind me, blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. And each week we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce Tiffany Foster, owner of Aurelia, is that it? I
Yes,
think Aurelia
that is,
Lux
yep.
Collection, and president of Women for Mentors for being my guest today. Um, Thank you for joining me, Tiffany. You can wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this. So
Thank you so
give
much.
them a big wave so they're all
So,
watching this. There you
hi
go.
everyone.
Great. Tiffany Foster, owner of her own business, offering estate and new jewelry discoveries, and she's the president of Women for Mentors, a nonprofit organization supporting women returning to school. With a background of digital media and marketing, Tiffany brings both creativity and strategy to her work. So the question, Tiffany, I always ask first time I meet somebody online is, as a child, you grew up where?
Oh, I grew up in New England, in Massachusetts.
Okay, and when you were a woman growing up in Massachusetts, did you always know you wanted to, first of all, start your own business? Was that what you wanted to do as a kid?
Oh gosh, when I was a kid, I think I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be all sorts of fun things. But yeah, I think it wasn't until as I entered adult life and I really started being able to utilize just different skill sets that I have and really figure out who I am, that I realized I lean more towards being my own business owner.
Now, had you had that in your background as a kid? Like, did you sell Girl Scout cookies or something, or
Oh my
do,
gosh.
do entrepreneurial things like that?
Yeah, I think it was bred into me. My parents, they always were entrepreneurs, and so they would always kind of tag me along with them, and I'd be out there selling their product, for them, like as a little kid, going, "Oh, the famous thing they always said is I would always try to charge everybody $40, no matter what it was. I was like, that'll be $40."
Well, it's an easy way, an easy pricing system. I like it. Just
Yeah, yeah.
$40.
It was back in
So,
the 80s and 90s.
so then, did you go to study on? Did you study to become an entrepreneur, or were you studying digital marketing, or what did you study?
So I actually returned to education. So I had a big break, and I became a mother and everything. And then I kind of had a life change. I went back to school as a single mom. I actually went to Asheville, AB Tech. So I studied digital media while I was there. And it was just a really big change for me going back to school later in life, which is kind of where my passion came from to start the nonprofit. So.
And so then digital media, so that was what you studied. Is that what you wanted to, then you started your own business. Was that based on your digital media background?
It was kind of a progression of sorts. After I got my degree, I ventured out in the world, and I was really fortunate. I had a few different jobs in the digital media world and in marketing, and then it kind of just led me to this natural progression of starting my own business. I had this opportunity and the availability to be able to sell jewelry. So that's kind of just kind of was a natural progression, and being having the digital marketing background, it kind of helped because I was able to just jump into the branding and promoting and everything of it.
Had you ever had your own business before this?
I did a long time ago, but it was in construction, and so it was a very different world. So when I returned to education, it was just night and day. Working in construction, having a construction business, it's really working out of a warehouse, and we didn't really have even Wi-Fi. So it was very different going and being behind a computer and actually having to like learn how to do all this technical work. So.
And so what made you choose then jewelry as a field to go into?
Yeah, it just is something that kind of happened, and it happened to it was just right timing, basically. And I was able to work with some really great just professionals and to be able to acquire the products that I have. Most of it is estate pieces. I do sell new as well, and I have aspirations to hopefully one day have my own jewelry line, which is something that I would love to do. My dad actually made jewelry when I was a little girl, so I'm named after the jewelry store. So I feel like it's in my blood.
So now, is this something that you're currently also doing? Are you making jewelry now? Or are you learning how to make
No,
jewelry?
I'm currently it's resale, so it's an online business, and my goal in it was to create that same trusted value that people have when they go into their local jeweler, but to create that space online. I wanted people to be able to feel like, we're creating a partnership, and they can trust that they're going to get what they're looking for, and that they can ask questions and be able to come back time and time again, and that I can help them find special pieces. I love that with jewelry, it usually comes with like a core memory, or it's something special. A lot of people associate really wonderful memories with jewelry, so it's lovely to be a part of that.
When did you start this business?
So this is still a new business. I actually started it this last year, and which is also when I started the nonprofit. And they kind of coincide for me a little bit in that my goal is to have the business, get to a place where it can financially also help contribute and support towards the nonprofit as well. It's doing it a little bit right now in little ways, but I want it to be able to do it on a more regular basis. And so, yeah, they're both kind of new ventures that I started this last year, and I just kind of dove in with both of them.
Do you remember your first sale?
Oh goodness, yes, I do. It was a butterfly pendant, which was really nice. I've always liked butterflies, so I felt like that was really special.
Because I'm looking, I'm a little disappointed. I don't see it behind you. I thought I'd see the first check, or
Oh yeah.
in the frame, and then, $10 or whatever. But you didn't keep it.
Yeah.
You spent it.
No, no, but one thing I'm really trying to encourage my shoppers to do, I'm trying to build up more of the social platform. I really like to see people enjoying it, and see it, how it's bringing those memories to life. I had one person, they ordered this necklace, and it reminded them of one that their grandmother had when they were alive. And I just love hearing stories like that because, that's so special. And so I want to see people out in the world enjoying their pieces. So I'm trying to build that up in social media and encourage my customers to share their stories.
And just as you tell it, I'm moved. It's a great story. I assume like we're all on social media, I'm more Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm not all that big into Instagram. I assume you're big into Instagram.
Yeah, so that's usually where I post a lot. It's on
Yes.
Instagram for
It's
the jewelry. Yeah.
even as you're telling the story, I love the story. That
Yeah.
you show the item and the woman's talking about the item.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's great. So what is it? People make the purchase and then you encourage them to post on Instagram, or you'll help them post on Instagram?
Yeah, so I usually just include in the packaging. I package everything with care and make sure, because my goal is to always make sure that it, with transparency, that it arrives to people, that they get their piece, it's packaged well, it doesn't get damaged. As much as I can, do that on my end. And so I usually put a little card in there, and it's so they can, be able to find me and stuff on Instagram and share. A lot of my sales currently happen through eBay. So it's really just great to be able to try to connect and build those relationships. So that's my goal for 2025, is to keep trying to foster those relationships going forward.
And the nice thing, I guess, about your line, for the most part, it's doable in terms of you can package it. It's relatively easy. It's not that big. So I had a buddy of mine tried to do a business on eBay, and all he was doing was taking these big pieces down to the post office every day. Um, but the one thing about your business is a little bit different, I guess. So there's still a large part of a personal touch to it, though. Like you still have to get the items, I guess, then package them up and take them to somewhere to be shipped, or somebody picks them up.
Yeah, yeah. So I do the packaging and ship them. I mean, obviously with eBay, there's also some of the items, they're more high-end items that, go through the eBay authentication process. But yeah, just making sure that it gets to people. And I usually try to be very communicative. And so usually the feedback I get is people appreciating that, the communication and the packaging and how things arrive to them. So, and those are part of the core values that I have of what I want this business to be. Like I said, I want it to be this trusted space online where people can get that feeling like they're working with somebody who actually cares about, because I care about, helping people get, what they need.
I love that core values. Do you have a list of how many other core values there are, or do you kind of memorize them?
No, I don't have them memorized, but it's basically transparency, honesty, communication, customer service is a big one. I think that's something that I really hold dear. And it's something that I feel like is kind of going away a little bit in today's world. Like we're seeing a change and a shift in how people are used to being able to communicate with other people. So customer service has changed from when
Right.
I was young. So it's important to me to keep that consistency and to make sure that people are getting that consistent communication and just respect, because whether somebody's difficult or not, or they're pleasant, it's just keeping that, that communication and customer service it is just that's top priority. So
And talk about one other thing you mentioned, because a lot of people may not be familiar with it, but they decide to do business with you or Aurelia Lux Collection. You mentioned
yeah.
the authentication process. What is that all about?
So that's something that eBay offers. And so there's a price point and on certain items that have a higher value where it'll go through their authentication process. It just basically goes to one of their locations and they have a professional say, yes, this is what it is. And it allows the person to have transparency and that ease of mind knowing that they're getting, what they spent a lot of money on, so which is nice on the high ticket items.
And so one of the nice things, then they go through this process or see it before they actually get in their possession.
Yeah.
So you tell them it's worth so much money, and then somebody verifies that fact.
Yeah, it's more about the item itself than the value of it. It's about, that it is what it, so it's natural, whether it's say it's a diamond bracelet, those are real natural diamonds that really is, gold, you know what I mean? And so that they can know that they're getting and eBay has their authentication mark that they'll put on it and they'll send that out to them. So
Well,
it's that's really more for the customer side of it, which is just a bonus of me selling through the platform, but my goal is to, because all the things I acquire, I do have a professional that, has inspected it and stuff. So I want to be able to create that brand of trust and everything so that, even if it's not on the eBay platform, that people can know that they're going to get that authentic piece, from Aurelia Lux collection.
and so if anybody wants to see the collection or what it involves, there are two questions I'll ask you on that. One, there's a website, I assume, that they can look at all the stuff that's available.
Yeah, so the website will take you to any listings. It's Aurelia, Aurelia, Lux, Lux, collection .com. And yeah, you can go there and check it out. We're also on Instagram and we'd love to be able to connect and yeah, answer
And
any
so,
questions.
and so one other question on the other side, if people have jewelry they're interested in having, I guess, you buy, or how does that work? Is it on consignment, or do you buy the stuff? How does that work?
Yeah, so I currently source all of my product from professional sources. So it's already been inspected and so on. But I am open to if people have items, but that's something that they would have to reach out to me directly and we'd have to work out. It would be more like if somebody was local, I'd be willing to work with them, but it's not something I broadcast doing. So it's more because I said, I go through the professional sources and that way we know that everything is top notch and it is what it is. So
And one of the cool things that you're doing that I learned about from, I guess, a mutual friend, and we'll talk about Dwayne Adams, but
yes.
you're also in the process of not only you're running this business, but almost at the same time you started this, is it a nonprofit?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. So Dwayne and I got to talk about the nonprofit a bit, and it's called Women for Mentors. We currently have a scholarship that is open to women returning to education. For the local audience, it would be for people going to AB Tech. We also are open to some of the other colleges in the area. And yeah, so it's basically a scholarship, but also comes with a mentorship side of it. And that's something that is very important to us, that we have those two things going together. We're financially supporting, but also offering that additional mentorship support.
And talk about, I guess, the mentorship aspect of this. So if people, is this now a nonprofit you started, and is this an organization that meets, or is there, what's the process in terms of getting involved?
Yeah, so the great thing about Women for Mentors is it's currently all online as well. And so, and I guess this is probably from my tech background as well, as that, I have all these businesses that are all digital, but I wanted to make it something that was easy and accessible. So right now, our big presence for Women for Mentors is on LinkedIn, and that's just a great professional platform for people to be able to connect and to communicate. And so, what we do is we have a page for Women for Mentors, but we also have a group, which is the W Forum Roundtable. And we currently are having a monthly meeting where it's just a roundtable discussion. It's pretty casual, and we encourage people that are participating and coming to it. They don't need to be on camera. We, stay muted. And we just encourage them to ask questions through the chat. And so we have a moderator and we have guest speakers on. And we just talk about, important, relevant topics that women are facing, professionally, or whether they're going back to school. And it's very exciting. So that's part of our mentorship side. We're trying to build this community where it not only benefits our scholarship recipients, but also just other women that are part of the community themselves. So they have this safe space to be able to communicate, bounce ideas, ask questions, and get to connect with other women from various backgrounds that they wouldn't normally get to talk to and get their advice on.
How many women are currently involved in this approximately?
Oh, so I think we're still building our numbers. I can't remember how many people have joined the group. We have a lot more followers right now on our page, but I'm just encouraging more and more people to join in. Our next guest that we have coming up is Pamela Silvers. Pamela Silvers actually used to be a teacher at AV Tech, and she was one of my mentors, and she is actually one of my inspirations that got me so involved in just wanting to be a part of creating this space for other women. When I was going to school there, she headed a program that was for women in tech. And in that, she would bring in speakers and just other women in technology to encourage us, to keep pursuing, that education. And I mean, because it is more of a male dominated industry. And so it was really great because that it just created this atmosphere where of like encouragement and just getting to recognize that there was all these different positions you can do in the tech world. And so through that, it was one of the things that I appreciated so much, and having that mentorship that kind of inspired me to keep in the back of my head that when I do graduate, one day I kind of want to pay it forward. I want to be a part of creating this for other women myself.
So how often do these meet? You said once a month. Is there a set time it meets, and for how long is it?
Yeah, so it's the first Wednesday of the month, and it is at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so it's just a relaxed, and the reason why we do it at the end of the day like that is so it's, relaxed. It's easier for people to be able to attend and come to. And like I said, the great thing is for people that want to attend these. And I love meetings like this where you can pop in and you can even have it on in the background and be still working and doing your thing. But just so that, people are getting to be a part of it. And the great thing is, like I said, this not only is to serve our scholarship recipients and to create that space for them, but it's also just to serve as a community. I always say that it's so important that women find their tribe, and so we're just trying to create that tribe online that's easy access, and available and accessible to people.
How long do these sessions typically run?
About an hour. Yeah. It's like I said, it's easy. And we encourage people, you don't have to participate in the chat process, but we encourage people to join in, ask questions. And we're just going to be covering various topics. So our next topic is going to be on mentorship and visibility. Like I said, Pamela Silvers is such a wealth of knowledge in that area, and she's just got such a great background. She's working in doing grants now, and it's just she's got so much resource and background in what women need to see themselves in different roles, that I'm really excited to have her share that wealth of information with our audience and with our group.
It's a question. If somebody can't make that Wednesday meeting, is it on tape or can they visit it after the fact?
Yeah, so it'll be recorded and
Okay.
it'll go up on our YouTube channel. It'll be up on our website, womenformentors.com. And yeah, so it'll be available and accessible to be able to get to after the fact as well.
And how many sessions, if somebody checks it out, how many sessions are up now? Do you have a bunch?
So we just actually launched
Oh,
our first one this last month. So we did our and everything with a nonprofit. It's such a wild ride running a nonprofit. In all honesty, I love it so much and have so much passion for it. But it's a business. It's a baby. It needs all the nurturing and all the care. And so finally, just last month, we were like, okay, let's just get it. Let's just get it going. And we did, and we kept it not, we did not promote it live like we intend to going forward. We kind of kept it just to kind of do that trial run, and it was
oh.
just me and a couple of other board members, and we just kind of talked about women for mentors, and kept it a little bit more low key just to make sure that we got our bearings. So this will be our first official coming up, this next one in June, our first official live with a guest. And so we've already got some people signing up on it. The event is created as well on LinkedIn. And so that's W4M Roundtable. And so I'm really excited. It's watching the dream kind of unravel and unfold, So
And so once again, if you would repeat, if folks want to find out information about that, what's the best bet?
So going to our website, Women for Mentors, women for the number 4 mentors.com. And through there, you can also find us on LinkedIn, but all the information's on our website as well. So people can find out about everything from the scholarship to how to donate. We're always looking for right now we are supported by some amazing local businesses, and we're always looking for more to come and help us, achieve this, sponsor an upcoming roundtable, or just even help out our scholarship recipients. So they can find out about the scholarship, becoming a mentor, joining in the roundtable. They can find out all that information on our website.
And one of the things I'll give you a lot of credit for, I'm very impressed with, is something you just said, is the fact that too many people I find, Tiffany, want to have the absolute perfect thing, and so I'm so impressed that you just did it, the trial run, and going into it. And the June, when will that be?
That'll be June 4th.
Mm-hmm. But it's so cool you did it, because I find too many businesses spend too much time debating and processing and trying to get everything perfect. And what you did is so cool, because it'll never be perfect, but it'll evolve. So
Yeah.
I love how you did it. You did a trial run, and June 4th will be the official launch of it. And lastly, let me have you just talk about this other part of what you're doing, which I think is so cool. You also then have the scholarship program. Explain the idea behind it and what's it going to involve, and how do people apply for it?
Yeah, so they can apply online on our website. And it is for, like I said, it's for women that are returning to education. So that's a non-traditional student. That's somebody who's had a gap between high school and college. And so a lot of times, like for me, and it's not to take away from men or anything like that. It's just it happens to be for women because that was my experience. I was, like I said, a single mom. I went back to school, and everything from the mentorship to the scholarships that I did receive, those things helped encourage me along the way. So it's birthed out of the gratitude I felt when I went back to school myself. And so it's just basically for women that return to education and just help them, make the path, make the journey just a little bit smoother for them.
So talk about it. Is there just one initially, or are there going to be a bunch of scholarships?
Yeah, so we have one open currently right now, and it's for the 2025-26 school year. But yeah, the plan is and as we get more donations, as more donors want to be a part of this and help us with this, that'll affect going forward how many we'll be able to offer. But our current scholarship is a $1,500 scholarship, and it is, like I said, meant to help women. So it's for people that are in women that are in the local Western North Carolina or in Northeast Georgia. And the reason for that is that because myself and another board member who are very active in the mentorship side of this, we are based in those areas. And so that way there's that support locally. And as we grow, as we expand, I'm hoping that we can, keep going throughout, the area and keep expanding and stuff as we get more people, jumping on the train.
And what's the process entail? Does somebody have to write an essay, or they have to be interviewed, or what do they have to do to apply?
Yeah, I tried to make it honestly as simple as possible. And based off of scholarships that I applied for when I was in school. So there's just a short essay just explaining, why you'd like it, a couple references, and obviously that you are a resident in Western North Carolina or Northeast Georgia. And then, yeah, it's like I said, we tried to keep it as simple as possible because, there's, obviously for the people that we're trying to target with this, they've got enough on their plate already. And going back to school in itself is such a feat. Being a full-time student is enough work alone, let alone, having anything additional, bills and what have you. Like I said, sometimes people might have kids at home, and it's a lot of work. So, yeah. So, and if anybody ever has any questions, they can feel free to reach out if they find that they need help or have questions or are not sure. Maybe they're questioning, like, do they actually qualify for it? I'm happy to answer any of those questions. Just reach out. Our contact information is on the website, and we'll make ourselves available to you. We're here to work with you.
And the only bad thing about this is that unfortunately you can't apply for this after the fact, or retroactive. She said, I
Yeah.
learned she sets up this nonprofit so she can be the
Yeah.
first recipient. But this is so cool. Very exciting to have gotten this off the ground, and to be giving out. I mean, think about this, within the first year, which is incredible. You're giving out your first scholarship, you've had these roundtables going. Let me ask you one final question.
Mhm.
You mentioned very nicely that people can contact you. Does this involve, will there be any mentorship after the fact? Like they come to the monthly seminar, will they be able to hook up with a mentor on their own or one-on-one basis? Is that down the road?
Yeah. So that's our goal. So, everything with this is phases and steps. So it's kind of like we're in our first iteration of it, which is creating this roundtable. We eventually would like to be able to, and this is with the nonprofit, expanding and growing, and more donors, donors help us, because it'll help us be able to put the things in place that we need to be able to have that one-on-one mentorship. I think it's so important, and that was something that I craved so much when I went back to school. Like every woman I met that, didn't matter where she came from or what she did, I just was like, so thirsty for the knowledge that they had. Tell me what you know, tell me how you got to where you got. And we have, part of our expression at Women for Mentors is that we rise together. And I think that when we help support each other and we help pass along that knowledge and that information and kind of pull down that veil that makes us all feel like maybe we're a little inadequate, maybe we're not, enough, maybe we can't get to the next level, we all win, so it's really exciting, and we want to be able to partner people up with individual mentors just to be able to have that monthly check-in. Just kind of, it could be just, hey, can you check out my resume, but in the meantime, what I want to do is create in the group that we created for W4M Roundtable. That's a private group. And the reason why it's private is because I want it to be a safe space for the people that join it to be able to ask those questions, and bounce off ideas and have those discussions there within that space until we get to that point.
And one last time, if I can you just repeat the 2 reasons people may want to contact you, Tiffany? That one, they can contact you about the business, and that website was what?
So Aurelia Lux Collection is AURELIALUX collection.com.
Okay, and so if anybody's interested, I guess, at this point in time purchasing jewelry, that'd be a good place to check out.
Yeah, we have estate pieces, we have new pieces. If there's a special item that you're on the hunt for and you would like to have somebody that can help you hunt for it, reach out and let me know, because I am happy to help you with that.
Okay, and also if folks want to get in touch with you about the Women for Mentors group, especially coming up to the upcoming June meeting or finding out about the scholarship, that website was what?
So that's Women for Mentors, women, the number 4 mentors.com. And that's where you can find all the information to link up with us, whether it's on LinkedIn or any of the questions about applying or donating. It's all on there, and you can make a secure donation through PayPal as well through it.
So I'd like to thank you, Tiffany Foster, for being my guest on this edition of the Blaine's World webcast. I'd also like to thank my producer, Kathy Cassetti. And I forgot to mention perhaps the most important person or most important part of this, behind you, who was in that joining us for this meeting. I heard something behind you. Was that a bird I heard behind you?
Oh my gosh, you can hear them. I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. I wanted to. Is the bird available? Can you see the bird?
Yeah, no, they're in a cage. Those are my baby chicks. So
Okay.
I decided to join the millennial trend and become a suburban farmsteader, and I have baby chicks.
Well, next time we have on our show, we'll introduce them as well. They won't be baby chicks; they'll be big chickens. Anyway,
Yes.
thank you for being my guest. This was a lot of fun. Also, thank my producer, Kathy Cassetti. And hopefully somewhere down the line, we'll bump into each other. Tiffany, that'd be great. Thanks.
Sounds great. Thank you, Blaine.